Commentators for Game 2, A Secret versus CDEC.
Indeed, thanks very much, James. We're here with Game 2, CDEC versus Secrets. Myself, Eddie Pixel, and Draskell, and wow, what a draft we've had coming out from both sides. Both of the teams resting their putting their eggs in the basket of the Invis carries, getting the Clinks and the Weaver on the map. Draskell, talk to me about these drafts. What are you looking forward to seeing this game?
I think the panel summed it up pretty well. It's basically a CDEC. They want to try to do as much as they can during the early game. It's kind of the mirror of last game. So Secret didn't really have great team fight, but they had strong lanes, had the ability to kind of snowball, and CDEC are pretty much in those shoes this game. They have Chronosphere, which is still good team fight utility, but they don't have near the AoE lockdown. Like, you're dealing with Ravage, Black Hole, and Invoker combo as well. I'm assuming that Wee's going to be going Exort this game. And not to mention, I think the Void is also going to have a much harder time than in Game 1. Clinks is phenomenal against any melee hero. And Time Walk, to get the maximum use out of it, you want to be harassed in like big burst damage, you know? You want to take like half your health and damage in like 2 seconds, then Time Walk it off. But we'll see what he's able to get done here. And see how the lanes shape up too. Looks like XC's actually heading towards mid right now, an aggressive tri-lane with the Weaver, Bench, and Rubik. So probably just going to grab the large creep by the off lane, and then just try to get what they can out of this aggro lane.
And so that's going to leave on this bottom lane that matchup that we're talking about. The Razor versus Tidehunter.
Is an awful lane for Tide.
I was going to say, Shiki's going to be alright with this.
Yeah, the Tide cannot really do anything here.
How much misery can find, and of course Puppey on his signature hero, a fan favorite. A lot of people are going to be very excited to see him coming out again on this one, the Enigma. Team fight's certainly going to be there. The pushing power as well from Puppey once he starts coming to lane with the Eidolons also, but that is of course going to leave Envy in this lane and having to deal with this tri-lane of sorts that's coming out from the side of CDEC. He has got the backup of Highlight Die. I mean, do you expect Envy to still find decent farm here, or is he going to have a lot of trouble?
Oh yeah, he'll be able to farm. It's just a matter of, are CDEC going to go for the early tower? Are they going to carry detection like Dust early on so they can actually go for the dive? Looks like a Garter actually has some on him, so there is potential to go for that kill. And they just need to be aware of it. Like, if NB sees the fact that the Rubik is carrying Dust, he needs to play very passive because they can't kill him.
One moment, Q just coming in to disrupt the pull here from Pilot Die. The small camp, and Garter and Q should be able to do the best keep a bit of control on it. MB's coming in as well just to sap in some of the XP. And in a game like this, what point do you expect to see Puppey start to make these rotations and start to leave the jungle and enter into a lane?
I think he is more content to just farm until he gets at least level 6, because if you just get the jungle to yourself, like no one's touching you, you can get 6 so fast. Like 5 minutes even, you could be level 6 if you get on. So with that being said, goes top, really good Malthus done into a black hole. That should be at least 1 or 2 kills going away with Secret, and as it stands right now, he's even going to be able to secure himself top rune for the team. A little bit of a misplay by CDEC, and they even had vision in that area, so they knew when he was going to be rotating down, but they don't get the rune. They're kind of going to be experience starved as well if they don't play this a little bit more carefully.
Puppey coming in with his army of Eidolons. Garter and Q eyeing this up. Aggressive is moving in.
I got the D ward too. That's really nice.
And again, with this aggressive trial, do you think we'll see Garter and Q kind of try and make the journey into the jungle? I mean, at the same time, can the two of them...
It's too hard. Like, with the support sitting here,
yeah.
Oh, they're gonna
Oh, yeah, they could try and go for this one. Aggressive, ready to move in. They'll be away with Terrified by Die. They'll actually get a magic missile onto aggressive Envy. Trying to go for the kill, but the stun is there from the center. Q with the control will find themselves the first blow. Q will pay with his life, but it looks like they're going to find a second one here. CDEC Pilot Die will pop the Fairy Fire. It's not enough. 2 for 1 on the top lane. And that's exactly what this aggressive trial needs to be finding.
It was just a little bit over aggressive there by Envy. Like, he tried to go for the Weaver because I think Pilot Die was too far away to throw out the magic missile during Shikuchi, and he knew the tower aggro was going to be on him. But the thing is, since the stun came late, he was out of tower attack range, which means that there was no way that counter kill was ever going to go down, and because he stayed a little bit too long, he got stunned by Centaur.
And so far, kind of eyeing up the last hits on the board. Bottom lane, Shiki, as he's kind of a 15 for 8, and as we can see at the moment, once again.
Like right here, the tower's going to switch. Actually, I didn't end up hitting him at all. I actually just ended up hitting up the Ench instead. So maybe he thought it was going to switch and he just wanted to go for it because there was such a large gap. But yeah, either way, it didn't work out. But 1 of 2 deaths isn't bad. They did end up trading in the end. Still farming like a madman. Like, he's got 30 CS. He is just a beast right now. He's almost level 6, and it's like 4 minutes into the game.
He's ready for this puppy. He is ready to try and look for some of the action. Still the Q hanging around here, trying to annoy Pylai Die, and drops the main control that he's trying to achieve here for MV. And what MV talking about the man, what's he doing? He's not where he should be. Aggressive and Garda finding the kill. Puppy will pop down the Malefice onto Aggressive, and he's going to be lucky that Aggressive is out of mana, so can't really look to commit anymore with more Shikuchis. But Envy just caught on the wrong side of the tree line there, and weren't there close enough to help him out that time.
Seems like he's underestimating his kill potential in this lane. If you get dusted and you don't have boots, you're not getting away. Like, even with Skeleton Walk, he only has 333 movement speed, and then obviously you lose movement speed off of that when you get dusted, so there's no way you're outrunning a Weaver. You get stunned one time, that's just it. Like, Venge can't really stop like all three of those heroes simultaneously, so instead they're just going to rotate here. Might get Shiki.
This would be a good kill to get if they can, but Shiki looking to be too speedy. And at the end of the day, this is kind of wasted time here for Envy, and he really is suffering. 9 last hits at the moment, 5 minutes in, and at the same time, top lane, Venge. Highlight Die gets a cheeky one onto Q. So Secret able to find themselves a kill, someone on the board, but this Clinks is going to become an issue if they aren't able to find Envy some space soon.
Oh, puppy. Bye, friend.
And another one there for CDEC, and Aggressive, he's looking for Highlight Die. Moves in with a Shikuchi. Gonna head himself back behind the tier 1, will be okay.
The Weaver pick is actually working out so well for them. There's not really many heroes in the early game who can do what Aggressive is doing on this hero. Like, just being able to dive towers effortlessly, realizing that there's only really one hard disable during the early game that you have to worry about. This is kind of a Weaver's dream.
Well, this mid lane matchup as well. 27 for 5, 27 for 9. Bang on with each other here, the Void and the Invoker. Interesting to see how much we can do. Obviously, we took the fact that the Invoker did have that change with Deafening Blast, but you think the way that Secret are going to be playing this game, that's not really going to be a huge issue, and he's going to look elsewhere. But
I think it's more about the ultimates that they land. Like, if being Misery can get like a good Black Hole, good Ravage, things like that. The Deafening Blast nerf, you won't really feel it because the hero's just going to die. So it's going to be down to the ult usage. And as far as that goes, the Rubik on CDEC, like Garter, he has a lot of stuff he can potentially steal, but it's also very stressful to play against 2 really big ultimates like that. To be like, okay, well, I have to steal at least one. If I mess up, I'm dead. Because the Clank is pretty much going to go for him every time, and Invoker could pretty much do the same thing.
And we saw from the side CDC, a couple of them heading to the mid lane, trying to see if they can find anything. We just playing it safe, backing up that side camp by the Ancients. And that's going to be the Garda, unable to find anything here with this smoke usage. Still though, XE getting a lot of farm here in this mid lane on the Void. CDC are going to be very happy with. Envy has now a little bit of space up on the top, but it's still an incredibly painful slow start here in terms of the farm here for this Clinks, and still struggling to find that level 6.
Yeah, and I think the struggle for Envy is reflected by those stats. That is, it's actually horrible, like having this start. He almost has like much CS as the Enchantress, who wasn't even really farming in the lane. Like, he was just kind of chilling up there, helping go for dives. And he has less CS than that. Okay, bottom lane, Misery.
Okay, in comes the Chrono. XE trying to do what he can. The Storm of Fair bit Misery will turn around with the Ravage. Puppy moving forward. Are they going to try for this? They will. They'll use the Black Hole.
Never that was scarcely worth my 50s.
Come out and getting the 2 kills, keeping themselves alive. Aggressive has come in with a rotation. See if you can find anything on the cleanup here. Misery will be able to wall this off. A little bit too tanky for the Weaver to do anything against the Tide at this point. But there's your Ravage, there's your Black Hole, and there's your potential turnaround in the laning stage.
They needed that big time, especially with the 2 kills that they actually get. They walk away with the Voids and a Razor kill on top of that. Like, here, they were kind of fighting into no vision. They had a ward near where the little ramp goes to the bottom room, but during this team fight, they had no idea what they were walking into. And unfortunately for that, they end up paying the price. So, Dice come back here, buys a little time for Envy to get himself back on his feet. He's level 6. But at the very least, now he has Death Pact. It's going to be a lot harder to really chase him down and actually get those kills. And I'm also curious, I guess Wee is just going for the standard, he's still going for the Midas. I don't know if he's going to go for Book or if he wants to go the Yule's route. I think Yule's is really good against Void, although... Oh wait, it's actually way worse now, isn't it? Because you can just time walk out of it. That actually makes it really bad. Okay, so maybe you can only really kill like the Rubik, Ench, and Weaver. Those are going to be your main targets.
Well, CDC now, they've kind of settled with the lanes the other way around. They've Or aggressive down here onto the bottom. They want to try and get him at the top of the farm game. We saw how much he can do with that in game 1 on his Sven. He kept himself at the top of the board in terms of value, and this game he's going to try his best to get up there. We'll be competing with this Weeha Invoker that's at the top, and as you said, now with the Midas, going to be able to start to work up his own net value. Secret hanging around at the bottom, ready to see if any of the one on the side of CDEC does jump out. Garda just throwing out a return gush there onto Misery. Because the fact that they've got 3 heroes down here, it is going to give us some space still to Envy. So Envy slowly climbing himself back up that board, and he has now got his brown boots.
I do believe that Misery overall has done way better in his lane than I was expecting. Like, if you just compare the overall CS, sure, Razor has more denies. This isn't a crush by any means. This is like pretty darn close, all things considered. So if you look at the way the Envy's lane started, he's already caught up pretty much to where the Razor is right now. So I think all things considered, even though it looked like top was pretty much a disaster and Envy probably didn't have to die 2 times, they're still making a very solid recovery. And I think that CDEC still need to be very, very cautious, right, to actually get something done here as well. They do have the Rubik level 6. And I think they're probably waiting on Q to get level 6 because it isn't an Impetus just yet. But once those tools are available, makes Chronosphere really strong again.
Back on the side of Secret, we see Puppy. He has got that mech done. And Black Hole will be back up in just over 30 seconds. And with the combo from the Ravage, we saw once how potent it can be against CDC's lineup when they try and go for these aggressive plays. Maybe see the side of Secret look for another fight. Envy this game with the kind of Sovereign picked up. Do you think we are going to see the Deso? Is there any reason why I might go Orchid first this game?
Orchid's actually decent against heroes like Void and Weaver because it locks them down enough to the point where you can kill them if they're not ready. Like, that's the one benefit to it. But I think Deso is just so much better for pushing and overall just damage output. Say, for instance, we talked about how they need to land their ultimates properly to win a fight. If those ultimates land, Desolator is infinitely better because of how much more damage you actually do during the lockdown. So you can just guarantee, like, blow up, 3 or 4 heroes.
There we have it, bottom lane. This could be a bit of a repeat. They've got the 2 ults online. We'll see if they can catch out aggressive. It's going to be a hard kill, but they have got the stun locks with the Ravage, the Magic Missile, and if they commit the Black Hole, should be enough to find it. But aggressive playing very safely. Highlight Die, he has got the swap and he's going to find it. Just bring it back, Sentry's drop, and pick up the stun lock, the Magic Missile, the Black Hole! Just got...
Was for sure. That was insane. I thought he was gonna miss. I saw his arms go out, I was like, oh god, he's gonna miss, but just barely caught it out. And
he's got big arms, Puppy. He's got huge arms.
Just look at how close this is.
Look
like,
at that.
He is not even in the animation, and he gets hit by it. That's got to be a little bit tilting. The weird part about that too is he actually had a ward, so I think he saw Pylai Die and Puppy walking into the side, but he still decided to around maybe a little bit too long. But nice sentry placement by Pi to allow him to get the swap off as well. But that means Black Hole down for tier 1. Secret are going to be happy with that trade. And they are just sucking at farm everywhere. You can see CDEC, they're kind of running around trying to figure out what they can do. And with 1 ultimate on cooldown, this is probably one of the better opportunities they're going to have.
Radiant's middle tower indeed find anything here. Gums now done on Misery's Tide. Creds as well on the bench. Shiki is going to spot out Misery in the jungle, but the rest of the team took a minute to push up the top. They're not going to be able to do anything against the Tide in fact, it's going to be Secret going for Roshan. For the Forge experience the Islands as well. They've got a good lineup for taking this down fairly quickly.
There's no way they're reacting to this way too fast.
Easy ages for the boys. Well, Shiki, he's going to put up in some of the Misery damage. Does have the Richard about the Misery just backed off the tier 1. They'll get the Roshan and Aegis now onto Weeha. And this game is certainly looking up a little bit more than game 1 was for Secret at this point.
They're looking really good. CDEC still need time before they can try to contest fights. A lot of it is dependent on, obviously, if Secret want to use Black Hole and Ravage during the same fight, they absolutely need to win that fight. If for whatever reason there's some like execution error and CDEC walk away with the team fight win, that's game changing. And the other thing too is, what can Garter actually steal from his engagement? Can he get a Black Hole? Can he get a Ravage? Positioning on that hero and what he can steal from a team fight is also going to be hugely important for them.
Alright, up Xe here. Misery has got the Ravage, he's got backup as well. If they can get the range for the swap at Xe, Time Walk just comes back off.
I don't think they can kill him. I don't even think chasing him is worth it at this point.
Alright, at this point, I mean, a lot of this down to Puppy really, it feels. The first 2 Black Holes of the game have been absolutely
so
huge.
farmed. Look at him, man.
It's Puppy Enigma. It's
got Greaves, and it's like 13 minutes in. Actually, I don't know if he goes Greaves this game. I think he might just go back for something what he did last game, like maybe go Vlad, or like full Aura build, or BKB. Although BKB is not super good this game. Still get spell stolen from, and you can still get speared, so BKB is not like amazing.
I'm interested to see what he does, and interested to see if as well. Oh, they have found XZ there with the wave of terror, but they can't quite get the block off there. Fine. Self out with the TP. I'm just on my screen at the moment. I've just got it double clicked on Puppy. We're 20 seconds away from that black hole. We saw him go straight for the action as he came off cooldown last time and got the Greaves out in the smoke. He's ready to do it again, Puppy. He's going to be looking at these plays as soon as that ultimate comes back online. The Ravage has still been held onto by Misery, so that's there ready and waiting. Question of who Puppy can try and catch out. He heads towards the mid lane and came up with Pie.
I feel CDEC's cores have this really awkward timing where anywhere from like the 15 to 25 minute mark, they're not actually as strong as they are in lane. And they have this kind of downtime where they need one or two items. Like take a Weaver for example. This tower's getting pushed in right now by Secret. What is the Weaver with the Perseverance gonna do against this? Like the laning phase for him went not as shooting he could have asked to. They were tower diving, they killed Envy 2 times, more times than he's like ever died in Clinks in the first 10 minutes according to the stats. And they still can't really contribute to the team fight. Like Razor is not good against 5-man, and neither is Weaver. I think they really needed to get way more than they did in the circumstances, and the fact that Misery didn't really lose his lane that hard, his Shiki also puts him in a position where he has more than maybe he should have. So even with CDEC having the good top lane, everywhere else was kind of just mediocre, and right now it feels like they are more than on the back foot. They don't even want to fight. XZ just teleports away. He's like, yeah, we're not doing anything here.
And it certainly seems the Secret are much more comfortable with kind of the playstyle that they're going for this game, and till Envy's Clink stepping it up here. 1k above the medallion. We'll see what he does decide to go for next. Mid lane, they're close to taking another tower here. Secret weak. Highlight spinning in to try and finish this one off. He's going to look for the deny here. Is he going to get it? Like he comes down there, they're already going to be forcing back the side of CDC. Guard are taking a lot of damage there from the Clink. So we will pick up the tower. That's going to be the Yule's done now here on the man. And as you said, this is really feeling like a lot of the momentum this game is all behind the side of Secret.
They just don't have an answer for the 5-man. It is very reminiscent of game 1, except I feel like Secret dealt better with 5-man than CDEC are dealing with it right now. And I think a lot of that also has to do with their heroes. Like last game, they had some way of taking fights. They had high burst damage, they had heroes who could contribute in a 5 versus 5. Weaver and Rubik, even to a certain extent, Razor, these heroes kind of need a front line or somebody to actually lock down for them to really feel useful in a 5v5. And all they have is one sphere. That sphere is not like absolutely perfect, like cancels a black hole and hits 3 or 4 heroes. The team fight is just so difficult for them.
We can see at the moment, just Weehawk into the space up top. There's a void around, the rest is Secret towards the bottom. And on top comes aggressive as well. Weehawk is on his own here.
He's got Aegis though. If they go for him, there's gonna be time.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of time for Secret to react.
And of course, I mean with these heroes, they're straight onto Shiki. Magic missile, the Sunstrike there, ready to dig the grave. Top lane, they have got him with the Chronosphere onto Weehawk. Will they have to damage? He'll use himself up here. Weehawk, can he manage to get himself out of this one? No, he's going to go down once here. Aegis has been popped now. Guard is turning up as well. Has been telling him he's ready to go. Just as ready waiting as well. Weehawk won't be able to escape this one. And Dust will be popped up. Take the kill onto the Invoker. So it will be a 1-for-1 trade across the board there. But arguably the more important one there for CDEC. Secret though, we're going to build an objective as well, and that's a tier 2 down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this is a very hard push to stop actually, and I think that CDEC are probably going to have to go back. Can't even really get the tower here. Have tons of time.
How's he defending it? You're defending against the push that's still got a rapid, still got a black hole. It's not going to be the easiest of defenses here for CDEC unless Secret chooses to just play it safely, which it looks like they're going to the point.
They have 2 towers top, so they can go clean up the offlane towers for free. And I don't really think that CDEC ever want to try to contest that. They're just going to make sure that there's nothing that's going to be taken away from them outside of just the fact that we died, which again, if I traded tier 2 safe lane for a death even on a core, I think that's fine. Given the circumstances, CDEC don't have a choice though. They have to make those trades because they just can't win the 5v5. We needed to wait for Secret to maybe overextend when they're trying to push into the tier 3 or potentially get a pick and then try to take the next Roshan. Those are best feasible options that they have at the stage.
Lincoln's is now done on the Weaver, but CDC, they're going to still certainly have to wait for any kind of major physical damage output to come out from the side. And Lincoln's Spear, we already talked about it, the team fight, the kind of AoE control. Secret have got a lot of things to work around that can still kill the Weaver. That Lincoln's isn't necessarily going to be a huge saving grace for him.
Well, it's nice because it stops the Invoker combo. Like, that's one way you could maybe die in Weaver, although I guess you can still time-lapse too, right? Because the deafening doesn't really stop you from casting anymore.
With the change.
So, and actually, it's just really bad against Void and Weaver now. But it's an interesting game because CDC's lanes were actually very strong, but they didn't perform, I think, up to the standards that their lineup necessitated. They needed to do better.
Oh, MV. He is out here. There's aggressive Garda stepping in as well, and Garda does have dust, but MV's going to be a little bit too speedy. Get himself out of this one and back to safety. And MV really stockpiling up the goal. We see him now on 3.1k.
He might
question what's he buying out, right? Is it the death? Yeah.
It helps them high ground. I think that's the next logical step. It's also good against Roshan. They have mass minus armor like Wave of Terror, Medallion, Deso. All that stuff just makes you melt through heroes like Razor. Even Void can just die in a couple of hits. In that sense, I actually think Flinks is better against Void than he used to be because back then you save Void periodically, but now if you just get hit by one disable and you have Flinks on you, you just die before you can really do anything. So, a nice bit of synergy they have going. They're gonna spot XC. He's got a Blink Dagger. Their follow-up for the Sphere is just so lackluster, though. What do they drop into a Sphere? It's like Enchantress auto attacks. You get like a static link and a plasma field, and that's about it.
And it certainly doesn't have the same synergy as they had in the team fights in the first game, CDC.
Oh, last game they had just insane amounts of
we saw some great combos in the first game.
Yeah, but there's the Crimson and the Deathstorm coming out.
Big
This is the I want to end the game in the next 5 minutes build from Puppy. Crimson Greaves. You take almost no physical damage. And the sad thing for CDC is they don't have any magical burst. So most of their team damage is built around physical.
We're going to see CDC group up here for a little bit of a fight, but at the same time, will be ready for it. Puppy, Misery on the sideline. Down to the jump next. Gets one up there. Oh, to another battle. CDEC and Secret were just ready and waiting, and again, Puppy with another flawless black hole.
That was insane. Well, the Rabbit set him up, to be fair. That was, I think, all Misery. And the fact XC, he missed Puppy by so little. I would never again, yeah.
Alright, he's been caught out. The Yulk was there in time. We just see it at the bottom right at the same time. We've got to see this replay because it's beautiful.
Barely missed. Like, who was so close to that? If he hits that black hole, or hits the sphere, the black hole never comes out, and maybe CDC have a chance to at least cut their losses and get out of there. But
oh, look at this! There's a replay at the replay. Oh! Replay in set.
Are we gonna get the triple replay?
Can we have it again?
Nope, we can't have it.
We can't.
It's okay.
No, we're going to get that $6 million tournament. But anyway, 10 for 5 at the moment. Secret having a lot better luck, a lot better display of skill here in game 2, and what a display it has been as well with this Puppy Enigma. He's going to pick himself up a gem as well, so the life for this Weaver's going to get even harder.
Top lane.
Oh, hello. Is he going to get this here? Shiki, yes they are. Wait, the solo picked up that.
Yeah, they're really strong. No big deal.
Invoker. They thought he nerfed him, but
not quite enough.
Doesn't need that. He doesn't need that. He's got a fair few other skills.
Like, it was a Yule's actually into Ice Wall, Forge Spirit, Alacrity instead of going to like the Meteor Tornado or Sunstrike Meteor. It was very nice. But Roshan's available.
And that even just having Pi with the Vlads as well.
They have everything.
They've got so at least Roche.
They have drums. I think they
let down less than 10.
Yeah, the Invoker has
drums.
So they have every aura item that they need, and the pack has drums.
They've even got the double drum.
They don't even need pipe. No magic damage. Like, you're gonna pipe Fade Bolt and Plasma Field. There you go. So the biggest magical damage that CDC put together here. And I think there is also something to be said for having team compositions that have only one type of damage. You know, if you only physical damage, it's very easy to itemize against. And I think that's kind of what CDC had here. Although if their lanes went better, it might not have mattered as much, because Enchantress is like one of the few heroes who kind of needs, again, that front line or a good spear to be able to really deal damage. But if you're relying on other people to help out, you're up against like Crimson Guard and Greaves at 23 minutes in with drums and Vlads. You're just not going to
Misery might be walking into this one. CDC did smoke up and Misery has been caught out. Can they actually kill him? He's a bit of a tanky brute here. He's going to be able to walk this one off by the look of it. Secret Arthur is back mode. XC jumps in, gets the drone onto Misery and Tyler, but they just can't kill this car. The Greens are on the bottom. They'll stand to fight. Out comes the Ravage now. He can pop the BKB, but he's already lost 3 of his friends. Only 2 left alive on CDC. Aggressive, swapping the time. Has the York never control. Every cleaning up the back line. And now Aggression's going to go down as well. This time in this game, the Team White's going the way of Secret. They only lose Highlight Die, but it's in his name, it's his job, he defends at the end of the day. What a fight for Secret, and they didn't even need the black hole. They didn't even need it. Now Puppy says, I've got it guys, what's going on? But it's already over. They didn't need it. CDC just get him. BTFO.
It was the worst target to go on. I mean, they saw an opportunity and they're like, alright, we need to try to go for this kill. We need to make something happen. But unfortunately, of all the heroes to catch out, it was Misery. And he gets into the middle of the team. They throw out a spear and XC's like, I do literally no damage. Let's just go pile like that. But the problem with killing him is that everyone on the team does way less damage. So now you can't kill the Tide at all because you just lost 36% of your base damage. In the meantime, Envy was just in the back line killing everyone with the Desolator that he had. And there's just not really much that CDEC could do about that. They just say GG.
Alright. What is this? TI4 finals. GG is called and we're going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. Secret have done it. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for some more black hole action, but that was nice to see after a game 1 where Secret didn't really look quite all there. It's good to see that we're going to have an even matchup in game 3. I mean, both teams are certainly warmed up now. And going from both games, it's hard to call